Are you looking to leverage your strengths to better further your career and find more career satisfaction? Maybe you're feeling stuck. This is the episode for you. We are going to talk about strengths in this episode and how to find them and how to leverage them. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Grow RDH podcast. My name is Katie and I am a dental hygienist from South Dakota and I am your host. We are going to be taking a break from our regularly scheduled programming, which has been the Enneagram. We've gotten through the Enneagram. We've done type 1, type 2, and type 3, and we are going to take a quick break from that because it is a new month. It is February, and because it is February, we are going to revisit our dental hygiene planners. The month of February, we're talking about strengths, and I'm just going to kind of show you a blank page here. So what we're doing in February is it's asking you to take a personal inventory on your strengths and write a reflection about how you can leverage your strengths in order to find more career satisfaction. And that doesn't mean that you have to have these big grand goals. It just means that you're reflecting on the things that you really excel at. And one, this is going to help you find really good satisfaction in your career because you're doing the things that make you happy. They're doing the things that fulfill you, that give you joy, and that you feel confident in doing. There's nothing worse than feeling like an imposter or not doing things that you really excel at. So if you're feeling stuck or unmotivated or just kind of bored, this I think will really help you kind of get back into that positive mindset, get back to that career that you went into because you loved it. And I think that this will help you just find in those day-to-day moments, sometimes those mundane things that we're doing that feel just kind of like a chore at this time. This is a way to look for opportunities in your day to really bring out the best in yourself. So today we are going to do a step-by-step plan of how to find your strengths and leverage them. And we're going to use AI. I am personally going to use ChatGPT to do this, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through the steps, but you can do this with any AI tool. So if you use Copilot or Google's AI, it doesn't matter which AI tool you use. Any of them are going to be able to handle these prompts because they're fairly simple. For the purposes of this activity, we are going to focus on 3 strengths. And so in the planner, there's 3 prompts and space for you to write your reflection. And if you want to do more than 3, great. If you want to just do 1, great. I think either way, this reflection is just going to kind of get you back in a mindset of positivity and confidence. The first step is to identify your strengths. And it kind of like brings you back to that moment where you were looking for your first job and you knew that the question that they were going to ask you is, what are your strengths and weaknesses? Same thing with trying to get into dental hygiene school. That is one of the questions that they ask you in your interview. And so kind of brings back like a little bit of trauma of like fear. Gosh, how do I verbalize my strengths? And the good thing about doing this is that it's pretty low risk, right? We can think about these things not because we have to, but because we want to, and we want to reflect on the things that we do well. So the first thing that we're going to do is just identify the strengths. So find 3 strengths that you believe that you can leverage. So how do we find our strengths? The first way to find your strength is to self-reflect. So here's a couple different prompts that might help you reflect on those. The first prompt is to think about times in your career where you felt really engaged. It got your mind really working and really clicking into all of the things that you like to do. When did you feel the most engaged? And what were the tasks that you were doing when you felt engaged? One thing you can do is during your day-to-day tasks, maybe highlight things. I got this, I think it was an Ali Abdaal video I was watching. But when we're thinking about those things that engaged us, one really easy way to do that when we're in the day-to-day grind is to find a system to sort of track that. So you might be doing things that you are really fulfilled doing, something that you really excel at or want to do, you look forward to doing. Those are tasks that energize us. So throughout your day-to-day schedule, the things that you do that energize you put a little plus in your planner book, or write it down on like a sticky note, a plus sign or a check mark or something in a positive context that you can look back on and say, hey, when I was doing this, maybe it's revamping your OSHA handbook or something. Who knows what it is? Who knows what you like? Maybe it's working on a perio protocol, or maybe it's just straight up when you're talking to a patient and giving patient ed, that's what really energizes you. Write it down in your notebook or a piece of paper or your planner or whatever you have. Write those tasks that really engage you and fulfill you and put a little check mark by it. The same thing goes for tasks that drain you. And this isn't necessarily, we're not identifying weaknesses here. We're just looking for things to kind of delineate what energizes us and what drains us. So if you find that a task, maybe it is the OSHA, going back to OSHA, maybe it's your OSHA policy handbook or something, and going over that really drains you, maybe put a little minus sign or like a sad face, who knows. But what that is going to do is it's going to allow you to reflect back on what energizes you or what drains you. And that will kind of give you an idea of the things that really engage your brain, the things that really give you that fulfillment that you're looking for. Another way to identify your tasks is getting feedback from others. And it is really scary to ask for others' opinions about the things that you do good and bad, because it can come with the bad, right? But that's okay. Everybody is different. And just like we're learning about with the Enneagram, everybody has different strengths, different weaknesses. Not to bring it fully back to Enneagram, but I am a high Enneagram 8 and I score high in Enneagram 3. And so my tasks that I like to do are action tasks. I really like to get things done. And so for me, checking things off a to-do list fulfills me and energizes me. But sitting down, reading an OSHA handbook and trying to maybe format things or do, really techie or righty stuff, not so much. Those things probably would drain me more because it's a slower pace. It's not as fast-paced as I prefer it to be. Review your performance evaluations. If you have regular performance evaluations with your boss, that's another way to identify strengths. Look for things that you consistently get positive feedback on. And if you don't have a formal review process, that's okay. You can ask your coworkers as well. Ask them, what do you see as my strengths? What, from the outside looking in, what do you think I really excel at? What do you see me doing well? And you can ask them also, what do I need to work on? That might help you clarify kind of what you're good at and what you struggle with. You can also look at some of your past experiences in the workplace. This means jobs that have been given to you. Maybe they didn't come out and say, hey, you're really good at this, but maybe they keep delegating jobs to you. Maybe things get driven your way because they know that you can get it done. Look at jobs that you get delegated. Look at past successes in implementing new things. What are those things that really drive you to succeed? And then finally, a really cool and exciting way, and again, I did get this from Ali Abdaal, I remember. A really interesting way is to prompt ChatGPT to learn about you. So if you have AI and you believe in AI, I know some people kind of get a little freaked out when it comes to AI. But if you trust AI and you use it regularly, let AI get to know you a little bit. If you prompt AI in the right way, it can ask you questions about yourself and then kind of summarize this. The way that I saw Ali Abdaal use it is when they're trying to really clarify a vision or a goal that you're working towards. And it was really cool. I'll link the video if I can find it. He had one of his members on his team just kind of sit, and he was typing as the member on his team was talking, and he was asking him, like, what do you like about yourself? What do you see from yourself? And he was typing it into ChatGPT, and he asked ChatGPT to write an obituary about this teammate. And it was kind of crazy. It came out with this whole, 3 paragraphs long thing about the things that he was talking about. He was reflecting to Ali Abdaal. He put it into ChatGPT and it came out with this beautiful obituary about his strengths. And I thought, what a unique way to kind of leverage AI to help us identify our own strengths. So here's a couple ideas of prompts that you can give ChatGPT to help you learn about yourself. One is, what are some ways I can naturally identify my strengths in my career? Another question is, can you write a list of self-reflection questions to help me identify my strengths? Then it will ask you, it'll give you a couple questions, and then you type them in based on how you would ask ChatGPT that, if that makes sense. Another question is to kind of turn it on its side and say, what are common strengths in the dental hygiene field, and how do I know if I have those strengths? Making it dental hygiene specific can actually really help, because ChatGPT will actually identify those types of strengths that are common in healthcare, empathy and patient communication, things like that, that might help you put words to what it is you're good at, right? And again, it's just a tool to help us, give us that verbiage, give us that tool that we have to take what's in our head and kind of put it out into the world on your planner, right? And so using those prompts and using the feedback that we get from our employer or our coworkers can really help us really clarify 3 really good strengths of what we bring to the workplace. So now we have our 3 strengths. The second part of this reflection prompt is, how can we leverage our strengths? And this is really important, right? It's good to know our strengths, but it's even better if we can learn how to lean on our strengths in an effort to better serve our patients, better serve our employer, and give us a leg up when it comes time for those performance evaluations. Gives us a leg up for times when we want to ask for a raise, or we want to negotiate maybe some benefit packages or something. Knowing the strengths and then leveraging towards a goal is essential for this to be really useful in your career. So the first thing you can do by leveraging your strength is enhance your career, right? And we talked about maybe being bored at work. And what this does is it allows us to not be bored, because we're focused on excelling at the things that we're good at. So maybe your strength is patient communication. You think you do a really good job at case presentation, you get high patient acceptance. Maybe you can leverage that strength into creating a communication guide for all the hygienists in your office to also do treatment plan presentations just like you're doing. This can increase case acceptance. If you're also good at that communication, you might be good at communicating to your employer or to your coworkers. And maybe that can turn into hosting team building workshops or hosting continuing education for your office. You might be able to better communicate changes that need to be made. Maybe you went to a CE and you're like, hey, I really want to implement guided biofilm therapy. And you bring it to the office and present all the good findings that are out there. Anything that you can do on the day-to-day basis that really engages you and brings forward that communication, that can just enhance your career. There's nothing better than feeling good about the work you're doing. And when you can find a niche, you can set yourself apart and feel valued for that work, or feel like you play a really important role because you're good at this one thing. So enhancing your career is one really good outcome when you learn how to leverage your strength. Number 2 is also in that same vein, advancing your career. So this means it's maybe an opportunity for you to get out of the role that you're in currently. Maybe if you work for a bigger office or for a DSO, you might have your eye on a management position. Maybe you become the dental hygiene lead. I know many hygienists, Kaylin is one, who has kind of made a place for herself that is beyond the typical clinical dental hygienist that we typically think of. If you can make a role for yourself or make a place for yourself by showing your value and highlighting those strengths, it can actually advance your career beyond what you even think is possible. You could get into consulting, say in your office, you've implemented these protocols, you've leveraged your strength, and now you have these really great workflows. You can leverage those and consult with other offices highlighting those same protocols. And again, you're advancing your career because you're showing off those protocols. You're highlighting all of these good things that you've done at your office. And now maybe you're a consultant for those types of practices. You're a continuing ed speaker for a certain topic that you feel passionate about. And again, even if you don't want any of those things, you love your job, you want to stay in your practice, that is totally fine. But you still can find a lot of satisfaction just by leveraging your strength and making a place for yourself, creating a niche that only you can fill. And finally, this is the piece that I think I'm most excited about. And this is the reflection piece that asks you how you can leverage this. So if you're thinking and you're listening to this, you'll be like, this is not for me. I have no idea what career aspirations I have. I don't know what I want to do. I think, again, you're going to find ChatGPT or some AI to be your best friend. This is what I've experienced. ChatGPT is a great hype man. If you don't have a hype man in your life, ChatGPT will do it for you. So what do I actually mean? So here are some examples of questions that you can ask ChatGPT, and they will help you or guide you through a prompt that will help you look for career opportunities to advance your career. The first prompt is, what career paths align with my strengths? This is going to give you some alternative paths that you may never have even thought of that could be open to you based on what you're good at. It can also kind of help you leverage your weaknesses. And again, this is kind of getting off topic a little bit, but hear me out. Say you're really good at policy writing and policy implementation, but you're not so good at the communication that requires you to implement the policy. So you can ask ChatGPT, I've written so-and-so policy. How can I help educate and help present this policy to my team so that everybody comes on board? It will help you write a vision statement, a mission statement behind why your policy is important. It will help you learn communication techniques that you may not have even thought of. So a prompt could be, how can I improve my communication with my team so they can see the plans that I have to implement or something like that. And it will give you a guided list of how you can do that. Another idea for a prompt is, how can I develop a leadership plan in an effort to create career advancement within my office or outside of my office, whatever your goals are. And it's as simple as that. I would love to hear your experience. If you try this, I think that you will be pleasantly surprised at how easy it is and how natural the communication with an AI tool is. I'm going to challenge you to take 5 minutes. And again, if you don't have the planner, that's fine. Take a piece of paper and write down strength 1, strength 2, strength 3. And then behind that, I want you to, write your strengths from, you hear it from your performance evals or ChatGPT or wherever. And then for each strength, I want you to come up with 2 to 3 ways that you can leverage that strength in your career setting. And that's something you can tell ChatGPT too. Tell them where you work, how big your office is, what your goals are, and you'll get an even more individualized response. And I think you'll really love it. I'm excited for you to try it. If you do try it, put it down in the comments. What did ChatGPT tell you? What are your strengths? I would love to hear in the comments. List your 3 strengths and I'll put a heart on it. I hope you're excited about this as I am. I'm excited to hear about your experiences with it. We will get back to our regularly scheduled Enneagram content next week. But until then, enjoy these prompts and reflections and keep growing, keep thriving, and I will see you on the next one. Don't forget, if you value this content, please like, share, subscribe. It really does help. I'm a small channel and we're trying to get those subscribers so that way we can share this information with all of you wonderful, great hygienists out there. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next Friday.